Right, here we go then everybody, we're lining up on the grid, moments away from the start of the Misfits F1 League Round 5 of this 12 round season here. And we're lining up on the grid, lights going to come on ahead of the grid, we're about to go racing here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Here we go, lights out and we are underway. Glenn gets a very good start there from pole, as Dazza not so great. Having said that, Glenn's going to lead into turn 1. Dazza there's got on the inside ahead of K-Karts for the time being. Charlie Perp there has managed to stay ahead of Sedders. Sedders has got ahead of John, so John is down to 7th place. Sedders has now got ahead of Shadow Perp as well, they're up into P5. So Sedders having a good start here in the opening few corners of the race. Glenn still leading ahead of Dazza with K-Karts there right behind. I Constipated there, still running in P4. And then you've got Sedders there ahead of Shadow Perp and John at the moment, having made an electric start to this race. He's now on the back of I Constipated here as Sedders and looking to try and gain another place if he possibly can. Looking to the outside now, down towards the chicane. Is this going to be another position gain here for Sedders? We see a bit of a lock up there in the foreground from somebody as Sedders there running a bit wide, trying to make this move there on I Constipated. In the end, looks like they're going to have to go side by side here through this next corner, and I Constipated there with a better run is going to have a bit of slipstream here off the car in front there, who's looks to be K-Karts there, who's giving the slipstream to him, but Sedders there manages to make that move there up into 4th place nonetheless, despite K-Karts, I Constipated's teammate, trying to give him the slipstream there. Sedders said, nope, I'm not having that, and he makes his way through up into 4th place. A great opening lap there from Sedders so far, but Glenn from Dazza from K-Karts there. Sedders now trying to put up onto the back of them if he can here with I Constipated, Shadow Perp and John there rounding out the 7-car field here as we approach the end of the first lap. But Glenn currently has the advantage as they come through the final corner here. So here they come then over the line to start lap 2 of the race. Shadow Perp looking to try and pile the pressure on the back of I Constipated here in this fight for P5. These guys have dropped away a little bit from the top 4. The top 4 seem to have been embroiled in a battle of their own out the front, so we could be seeing a lot of drivers here in with a chance of the win tonight, as Glenn there a bit of a slide going into the hairpin. That'll be playing on its mind a bit. All these top 4 on the medium tyres at the moment, they seem to be actually saying that. Sedders has just dropped a little bit of time over the course of the first sector here to these top 3, as Daz is now making a move for the lead of the race. Up the inside he goes into the chicane, and that's Daz now into P1 ahead of Glenn for the time being. So Glenn there will now get DRS down the 2nd straight, which could allow him to go for the immediate reply here. Here he comes. He's a little bit too far back though this time around, and Glenn's going to have to wait at least another lap to try and get his revenge on the current race leader. Unless, of course, he can make a move through one of these fiddly corners here. These slower, high traction zone corners. But it doesn't look like he's able to make anything happen just here. Obviously, the track's pretty wide through some of these sections here, which helps to sort of it helps to find a bit more through some of these corners and creates more potential for mistakes as well. As you see a bit of a slide there from Glenn as he came through the final corner, but Dazza still has a comfortable lead here as they start lap 3 of the race. But Glenn obviously getting in pole position a little bit earlier on. Glenn I think I don't know if he would have seen the stream or heard about the race from Hungary a couple of weeks ago, where Dazza obviously only finished a couple of seconds behind Badman on the track, and it was pretty close. But nonetheless, we see Glenn here with some DRS down the long straight. This will only serve to get him a little bit closer. He's not close enough to make a move into this chicane, but it will give him a good chance to try and have a better go at him through the next sequence. As we see Dazza a little bit wide there, might have got a track limit this morning for that one. Glenn still with DRS here down the 2nd straight, still a little bit too far away. In the meantime though, I Constipated is on the back of Sedders here as he's looking to the outside. He's got DRS as well, but Sedders is going to cover that inside line off. It's a wide turn this one, so you can go around the outside. We've seen it done many times. We saw Oscar Piastri do it to Norris on the first lap of last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We saw Hamilton do it on the last lap of the race 2 years ago as well, as they're still side by side. As Sedders, they're still giving him every bit of space that he's due on the outside to I Constipated, but I Constipated cannot make that move, and Sedders there holds on to that one. But great racing there from those two, great respect shown between those two drivers. It's dropped them well and truly out the battle there for the podium places. Shadow Perp's looking to try and feast on these scraps, but neither of them giving it to him at the moment, and they're still holding it as they were for the time being then. But exciting battle there between those two in the foreground. Sorry, the battle still rages on for the lead of the race. Dazza, Clen and K-Karts. K-Karts hasn't really figured in this one yet. I think he's just waiting there like a silent assassin at the moment. He's watching these two. He's like a sniper waiting to pick his moment. These two at the moment are doing a very solid job here in first and second places, and are not leaving anything on the table for the Red Bull driver just yet. But Clen, again with a bit of DRS, again a bit too far back. Dazza seems to have good straight lines, but always Clen there, massive snap there as he went into the corner. Has got the car set up very snappy there, very heavy on the front end. It looks to me that the rear end is pretty unstable at this point. That will only be accelerating his tyre wear over the course of this race, so Clen's certainly not struggling with understeer, but ultimately his tyres are going to suffer the consequences for it, and potentially his driving, because you've always got more potential for mistakes when the car is living dangerously on edge like that. But at the moment, Clen still piling the pressure here on the back of Dazza. Here they come through the final couple of corners. He's a bit closer this time around. He might have a chance down the DRS zones in a few corners time if he can stay close here through sector 1. Looks like he's very uncomfortable on those curbs, doesn't he? Extremely uncomfortable. What's Clen able to do here then? Doesn't look like he's able to stay close to this part of the track, and obviously it's this part that leads to the DRS zone. So for the time being, Dazza looking pretty comfortable there in P1. K-Karts slotting in behind for the time being. Sedders is still unable to shake off Icons Tapating in that fight for 4th place. Sedders obviously gained 3 places on the opening lap, but since then hasn't really gone anywhere. But Dazza showing that getting the initiative early on can be key in races like this. Obviously he's got good straight line speed, and that's making it difficult for Clen to really have much of a chance. And also Clen is really struggling on the curbs as well. That car looks like he's just all over the place. Whenever it hits a curve, it's practically sideways. It's a fast car, but it's just not handling those curbs at all well. And Dazza's getting better drive through a lot of these corners, and it's just giving Clen too much to do. And he might be at threat here of losing the DRS, and if he does lose the DRS here, that could make him very vulnerable to K-Karts. I think he just about climbed onto it there. He was just about within a second as they got to the detection point. But Clen, I'll tell you what, I mean, he can see the win slipping away already here. It's one of those races where, you know, that tyre wear is not going to get any better. The handling's not going to improve at all over the course of a race. I mean, is he now just surviving at this point? As Sedders here is looking to try and close up onto the back of the top 3 here as well. He's got himself within a second here. Is Sedders got DRS? Not quite. Not quite. But he's pretty close here, I'll tell you that. As K-Kart's now looking to attack here on Clen. He's a little bit too far away there, but that could have been a dress rehearsal for what's to come in a bit, because Dazza's obviously now threatening to break away out of that 1 second zone here to Clen. So if Clen is not careful here, he could quite easily lose out to that DRS on Dazza, and then he'll be ultra vulnerable here to the Red Bull behind. And K-Karts is going to be Johnny on the spot and ready to pick up the pieces if that were to happen. Sedders is also not far behind as well as Constipated, so these two are now coming with them. Shadow Perp, I think, has made a mistake, has dropped back a little bit as Clen's now into the pits. So Clen getting the medium tyres off here, which is no surprise at all. It looked like he was all over the gaff there, so I imagine the hard tyres are going to be going on Clen's car here. So I imagine he'll be doing a 12 lap stint, probably an 11 lap stint after that. 2 hard stints to get him to the end of the race. I mean, that is just not what you want to be seeing right now. The car seems to be really struggling underneath him at the moment. But Dazza currently leading the race here by just about a second. Did K-Karts get DRS? No, he didn't. So Dazza, tell you what though, he's gained a bit here through this part of the track. He'll probably have DRS down this next straight. K-Karts, look at the straight line speed on that thing. As Sedders and Icon Spade now coming with him here. So there's 4 of them now in a DRS train battling over the lead, which is going to get very exciting indeed. Here comes K-Karts then. Saying that his straight line speed doesn't seem that great down here, so I don't know how on earth he gained that amount of time that he did down the previous straight when he didn't even have DRS. seems a bit sus, but anyway. So here they come then, out onto the start finish straight once again. It's Dazza from K-Kart, Sedders there and Icon Spaced. Top 4 here, separated by about 2 seconds at the moment. They're a fair way ahead of Shadow Perp there, who's running in 5th place. You've got John and Clen there rounding out the classification. Clen having pitted already, so he's going for the undercut here. I think he needs to do some bits here over these next few laps because his car, his tyre wear is going to be all over the place. Looking at the handling of that car, I can't see the hards lasting more than about 10 laps, but we'll have to see. But Dazza still has the advantage here over K-Karts. K-Karts really closing up there under brakes. Seemed a bit loose. Oh, it's Dazza. Was very out of shape there coming out of the chicane. And here comes K-Karts now. He'll sense his opportunity. He won't need a second invitation here as he looks to the outside now. K-Karts is going to try and go round the long way. Dazza though goes late on the brakes. K-Karts trying to keep himself there, and he's going to manage to make a great move here on the outside. I think it's K-Karts, although Dazza gets a better run out of the corner, and K-Karts is going to have to slot in. That was a close to being a move done there for K-Karts, but Dazza clings on for the time being. But K-Karts is now going to know that Dazza's got a bit of vulnerability there out of that chicane. Just seemed like he just couldn't get the power down and was all over the place as he stumped on it. But now we see Dazza into the pits, and it looks like Sedders is following him in as well here. So K-Karts and Icon Spaced continuing around the 2 Red Bulls. This is going to be difficult now because obviously, well, actually no, Icon Spaced is on the hard tyres. So he's actually in quite a good position here. He's in a really good position strategically. I was about to say, obviously, if they're going to both want to pit on the next lap, it'd be very difficult. But Icon Spec can go probably a little way further into this race. I would have thought K-Karts would be needing to come in at the end of this lap. Otherwise, he'll be in a pretty sticky position. So we see Dazza and Sedders now back out onto the circuit. Clen is just coming into the hairpin, so that just goes to show how extreme the tyre wear is. We know this from previous F1 games here at Abu Dhabi. The right rear tyre around this track absolutely gets battered. So yeah, you probably lose about 4 seconds a lap once the tyres are really worn. And you can see that now. Clen is 7 seconds clear of Dazza. He's 8.5 seconds clear of Sedders. So that's just in 2 laps of fresher tyres. Really does speak volumes about this circuit and the toll it takes on the tyres. So K-Karts will have to surely be at the end of this lap. He'll be probably wanting to do a 1-stop by the looks of it, if he stays out much longer than this. But no, I mean, that's nigh on impossible around here. It's got to surely be a 2-stop here for K-Karts. But his teammate is waiting in the wings behind him. Here comes K-Karts then, diving into the pits here at the end of lap 9. And that now releases his teammate into the lead of the race for the time being. He's done a good job here over the course of this first stint as I contemplated, but he still has to use the medium tyres. And we know obviously the medium tyres are at a big disadvantage around this circuit. So K-Karts is now off and away. John there is running in 3rd place just ahead of Clen, so Clen's got to clear him as quickly as possible here, and Clen's up the inside here for turn 2 and gets ahead of him there, so no dramas there for him. Nicely done there from Clen. But yeah, so Shadow Perp's currently running in 2nd place. He's really fallen off over the course of the first stint, was there for the first couple of the laps, but the medium tyres I think just fell away for him. You have to be very, very nice to those medium tyres. You have to be very polite and very courteous to them. If you ask too much of them, if you're a little bit too demanding, then they do not appreciate it. But Glenn here looking to the outside now of Shadow Perp, and he's going to make that move there down the second straight with a bit of DRS. And he says, thank you very much indeed. And into some clean air he goes. So Glenn is currently about 7 seconds clear of Dazza, about 7.5 seconds clear of Sedders. So Glenn is the net race leader, obviously, once that Constipated comes in, but he's got 2 lap older tyres than Dazza and Sedders, which will definitely have a factor, or it will definitely have an effect around this track, that's for sure. But how much of an effect remains to be seen. But nonetheless, we see Shadow Perp and John into the pits here. Sedders there with the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:26.7, so he's going a bit quicker there than Dazza. Sedders has got to fancy his chances here on the back of the Ferrari when they come down this DRS straight in a moment. So the gap between Glenn and Dazza 6 seconds. So it's coming down about 7 or 8 tenths a lap between them. Obviously that's the difference that 2 lap fresher tyres makes around this track, on the hard tyres as well, that is. But Sedders here with DRS here, going to get a little bit close to the back of Dazza. Dazza, though, we said before, we say it again, the straight line speed there is really, really good in that Ferrari. Obviously he's got it set up for that. You can see there he's much smoother, Dazza, on the steering. His tyres are going to thank him for that. So he'll be able to get them to go a lot longer than the other guys, most likely. Bit understeery, but looks pretty balanced here. Actually, it looks pretty good to me. But you can see there's no twitchiness at all for Dazza. He's just beautifully smooth on the wheel. It's going very, very nicely indeed for him at the moment. Sedders here looking to try and apply the pressure on the back of the Ferrari here as he goes a bit wide there out of turn 1. Dazza seemed like he was a bit hesitant, and that forced Sedders to go wide to take evasive action. So Sedders is now in a prime position here to make this move. He'll be, well, he's within about 0.2 of a second as they come into the hairpin. So if he's smart about this, he'll use the DRS to blast past. So here we come then, as the Williams is getting closer and closer to the Ferrari and pulls out into the inside, and he's going to make that move very easily indeed. Now Sedders needs to be smart here, needs to make sure he gets a good exit here out of the chicane, because you could very easily see the positions swap back here in a second if Sedders isn't clever about this. Dazza's going to have the DRS again, but Sedders gets a great exit there out of the chicane. He's going to be absolutely fine here coming to the end of the second straight. Dazza's going to get a little bit of an overspeed there, but not enough. So Sedders there's got that move done there up into 3rd place for the time being. Obviously a net second, because I Constipated still yet to make his first pit stop of the evening, as K-Karts has now arrived on the back of these guys as well, on those 1 lap fresher tyres as well, which it will have an effect. It'll be a small effect, but it will be an effect nonetheless. A couple of tenths, at least 3 or 4 tenths maybe, could be the amount that he's gaining. Although these guys only gained about half a second on Glenn over the course of this lap, albeit they were battling, whereas Glenn has had clean air. But these guys battling is going to play into Glenn's hands beautifully here, and he will probably now, well, he'll definitely be glad that he came in 2 laps earlier. It was risky, because obviously having older tyres around this circuit is a real disadvantage, but he got himself in clean air. He dispatched a couple of drivers. Obviously he had to pass John, but John didn't make it too difficult for him. So he's actually got himself in a really good position right now, as Glenn. Lost the lead in the first couple of laps, obviously led the first lap from pole, but then Dazza found his way past. Since then though, Glenn's played his cards pretty nicely here. He's currently on the back of the race leader, I Constipated, who's still yet to make his first pit stop of the evening. Obviously he started on the hard tyres, has got to use the mediums at least once, so what does he do in regards to that? I'd be very surprised if he tries the 1 stop. We've seen the tyres are absolutely shredded here. Well, the medium tyres, we've seen drivers coming off those after 6 laps, albeit on very loose setups. I reckon 8-9 laps is the norm. Potentially 13 or 14 laps on the hards has got to be the max here, surely, that they can be thinking about. But Glenn here will be wanting to make light work of this Red Bull, because obviously he's got bigger fish to fry in the shape of potentially having to hold off Sedders, Dazza and K-Karts later on in this race, but for the time being I contemplated just driving his race. He'll be motivated here to hold up Clem as much as he can, because his teammate K-Karts is definitely the battle for the win here tonight. And to be fair, if he's doing a one stop, he might have an outside shot. But it is definitely an outside shot, I have to say. It's a very, very, very long shot indeed. But he'll be definitely motivated here to do the job here for his teammate, who's quite a long way back behind Clen at the moment, but obviously with those fresher tyres. Clen here with a bit of DRS down the first of the two straights, and this will just get him a little bit closer and set him up potentially for a move into the left-hander at the end of the second straight. As here we go then, Clen's going to get a lovely exit, beautiful drive there, brilliant traction there from the McLaren, and he's now going to move to the outside with a bit of DRS, and Clen gets that move done up into the lead of the race. So took him a couple of laps there, but he's done that one, and Clen into some clean air. He's 5 seconds clear of this battle here for what's going to be a net second at the moment between Sedders, Dazza and K-Karts. And these guys, as we said before, all on fresher tyres than Clen. But Sedders now ahead of Dazza and K-Karts there at the rear of this trio. And I'll tell you what, at the start of the race I was feeling a bit down about the 7 cars on the track, but we're seeing some interesting narratives tonight. We're seeing some good racing, and it is definitely quality over quantity in terms of tonight. I'll tell you what, we just need a few more drivers. We just need people to be a bit more reliable, I think, here. I mean, earlier on I saw there was 12 people who had confirmed, and look, I know there's going to be sometimes 1 or 2 that might have to drop out last minute, but I don't believe that 5 people genuinely all had emergencies that they had to. It's just impossible. The laws of probability do not advocate for that kind of thing. So yeah, I think some people are messing about. I don't know what's going on, but all I'd say is, you know, John's been putting together a good league, and they've got a good bunch of guys here, clean racers. So yeah, it's not really fair, is it? But in the meantime, Dazza here looking on the back of Sedders, a little bit too far away there going into the corner. Holds position for the time being. But these guys, this trio, are now coming onto the back of Iconstipated here. He's still running in second place for the time being. And to be fair, he's got a long way into this race. I mean, if he goes a couple more laps, you've got to start maybe thinking he might be going for the one stop here. John, in the meantime, has moved ahead of Shadow Perp up into 6th place. He's gone a bit wide there, and Shadow Perp's going to try and come back at him here. But John keeps it around the outside as Iconstipate's got a penalty. He's into the pits finally to get those hard tyres off. But Shadow Perp there managing to keep ahead of John through that sequence of corners. Great battle here between these two for P6. John's going to try and go for a cutback, is he? No, he can't do it at the moment. Shadow Perp there managing to keep on to P6. Oh, he almost taps the wall there on the inside of the penultimate corner. And John there says thank you very much indeed, and sneaks up the inside and is back up into the position once again there. So these two giving each other hell at the moment, but John has got that position now, as Iconstipated re-emerges onto the track just ahead of these guys in 5th place on his fresh medium tyres. I doubt he'll be going to the end from there. 14 laps, got to be impossible, I would say. So Sedders, Dazza and K-Kart still fighting out over 2nd place at the moment. Dazza a bit too far back here at the end of the 2nd straight for the time being. As Shadow Perp looks like he's a bit too far back here. No, he's going to go for it here on John. Down the inside here into the first chicane. And that's surely going to be job done there for him. And it is. So Shadow Perp retakes the position. Now what can John do? Now he's the one chasing. He's now the hunter rather than the hunted. Here he comes. And John's going to say, yep, alright, well done mate, fair play. But I'm just going to take it straight back off for you now. You needn't have even bothered. No, in fact, no. Shadow Perp there keeps it around the outside. Great stuff there from Shadow Perp. And I thought John would have had that move done there, but the Sauber drivers managed to keep onto that one brilliantly. Excellent racing here from these two, putting on a great show here in P6. And looking like Shadow Perp's now started to pull away a little bit from the Williams. This is the part of the track where Shadow Perp fumbled the bag on the previous lap. No such issues this time around. and maintains 6th position for the time being, but John's going to keep close here, try and keep him under some pressure. As Dazza here is on the back of Sellers as they're coming down towards the end of the first straight, bit too far away there as they came onto the brakes. As we see, Sellers was a little bit deep there through the chicane, and now here comes Dazza, looking to try and apply the pressure once again. These guys 3.5 seconds behind Clen, so on the pressure tyres they're now going to have the upper hand here as Dazza tries to go around the outside of Sedders, and this is going to be job done. Sedders trying to keep it there on the inside. Dazza with the better momentum there around the outside gets that move done up into 2nd place. Lovely manoeuvre there around the outside, and now he can try and chase down Clen, but he's still going to have Sedders on the back of him here. They're not going to give up here in this one, these two are, I'm sure about that, as K-Karts has now got a penalty for track limits. Shadow Perp did actually get repassed by John briefly. John's now lost that position again, and the previous order has now been reassumed as we see Clen now into the pits here at the end of lap 17. So he's going to do a 12-lap stint on the hard tyres to go to the end of the race. He's going to have older tyres than the other guys, but he's now going to get that undercut which he got in the first stint. He's now going to get that again here in the second stint. And what for him is going to be his final stint of the race, as we see John now with a 3-second penalty. So Clen has played an absolute masterstroke here by coming in a couple of laps early and doing a 12 lap or doing two 12 lap stints. He could have just bagged the race win here. Albeit, no, this will be the longest stint that he's done on any tyres, because he did 11 laps on that previous one. But obviously lighter fuel loads for this final stint should be a bit easier. So Clen here in a prime position here to take the victory tonight. Now what do the other guys do, knowing that he's going to gain on them? Do these guys come in at the earliest opportunity to try and reduce the amount of the time that Clen gains on them over the course of this stint? Dazza currently leading this trio of cars. Sellers keeping to the back of him. K-Karts just lost a bit of time to these guys over the course of this lap. If anyone's going to be in a good position to come in, it'd probably be him, but then again, he's done the least amount of laps on these tyres. But here come the leaders as we come through the final few corners, and Daz is coming in, so is Sedders, and K-Karts is staying out for at least another lap here. So these guys come in at the end of the 10 laps on those tyres, and K-Karts is going to do at least another one here on what is now his 10th lap on these tyres. So Clen will have about a 3 or 4 second lead, I would have thought, over Sedders or Dazza. Well, actually maybe about 5 or 6 seconds, because I think the gap was 3 seconds when he came in, so you gain about 3 seconds at this point in a stint. So let's see. Oh, I tell you what, he's miles ahead of him. Wow, he's a bit further ahead than I expected. So he's about 6.5 seconds clear of Dazza, and he's about 7 seconds clear of Sedders. So Clen is actually a long way ahead here. In fact, no, he's 7 or 8 seconds ahead of both of them. So Clen is, by coming in a lap early, he's gained about 4 seconds. And he's only got 1 lap older tyres here. So Clen looking very good at the moment for a race win here tonight, as long as he doesn't mess up here through this final stint. Not far to go now here in this round 5 of this Misfits F1 League here this season. Been pretty competitive so far, I have to say. Just a shame about the turnout, that's the only thing. But K-Karts nonetheless coming through the final few corners here on lap 19. So he's got 10 laps left to go in the race. Is he going to bring it in at the end of this one for a new set of hard tyres? A bit wide there onto the curb, keeps it within track limits, I think, just about, but it's coming over the line to do at least another lap here on these tyres. I wonder if he's going to try and go to the end on these. He'd have to do 20 laps on these one set of tyres if he's going to get them to the end. I'd probably say he's not going to do that, but who knows, it could be a bit of a roll of the dice maybe. Try something different. If you don't, you're going to come P5. Or is he going for a tyre delta to maybe chase down the likes of Dazza, Sedders and I Constipated? I reckon Clem might be a bit too much of a stretch, but we shall see. In the meantime, Sedders here on the back of Dazza at the moment as they're coming down the first straight. DRS here enabled here for Sedders. He's going to now look to the inside there into the braking zone, and he's surely going to make that move. Dazza's keeping it there around the outside, but Sedders has that momentum there and gets that position there very nicely. Whether Dazza's going to try and come back at him, but doesn't get a great exit there out of the chicane, and Sedders is going to be comfortable there into the next corner for the time being. So K-Kart's coming in here at the end of lap 20. So 9 laps left to go here in this race. We've got Glenn still leading the race by a little bit. As we see, I Constipated and Sedders here coming over the line. Just start lap 21 of the race into turn 1, and Sedders is absolutely hassling I Constipated right now on the fresher tyres. I'll be wanting to get this move done as quickly as possible. I Constipated also with a penalty as well. So Sedders and Dazza are going to be extra motivated to get past as quickly as they can here. Now, how far behind is K-Karts? He's about 6-7 seconds behind that battle there, but on 2 lap fresher tyres. Could it be possible? I don't know. I don't think so, but we shall see. But I think that Glenn is all but got this one in the bag, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes here in his final few laps of the race. As we see there, Sedders making the move there on I Constipated. He's not giving this one up though, I'll tell you that. To be fair to him, is he trying to get his teammate back in this battle for the podium? As here comes Dazza. He's going to get the run on both of them there to the outside, 3 wide here into the left-hander at the end of the second straight, and on the inside I Constipated clings onto it. And how on earth is this guy still ahead of these 2 drivers who are on the fresher tyres? Oh no! And there's almost a terrible crash there. Sedders got sideways there on the exit of that corner, and Dazza there managed to make his way through. That was so close there to an absolutely catastrophic collision there between the 2 of them, but somehow they've managed to keep it facing in the right direction. But that was very, very close there to both of them being in the wall and potentially both of them out of the race. It looks like they've escaped without any major damage, which is miraculous. So Dazza and Sedders still on the back of I Constipated, but I tell you what, I Constipated's hanging in there. He's surviving in this one. He's done really, really well. He's fighting for his life here and buying Glenn more time as if he didn't need any anyway. I think he's basically got the race sewn up, but this is pretty much giving him the victory here tonight. As we see Dazza here looking to the outside of I Constipated into the hairpin. He's going to drive around the outside there, and he's going to make that look very easy indeed. So Dazza now into clean air now. Sedders will be looking to try and do the same. As there he goes. Sedders now making the move down the straight, and into 3rd place he goes. And now he's going to get a bit of DRS here from the Ferrari as well to try and help him to consolidate that position, which he will do going into the next corner. So Glenn out front with almost a 10-second lead now over Dazza, and seems to be flying along very nicely indeed at the moment. I was just scratching my leg there in case anyone was wondering. But anyway, Sedders is on the back of Dazza as they're coming over the line here to start lap 23 of the race. So 7 laps left to go here in this one. And Sedders very much in striking distance here to make a move on Dazza down the next DRS zones. It's a tactical game here, I suppose, as to whether you make the move in the first zone or the second, because if you lose the chance, if you don't make it in the first zone, there's every chance that you could get a bad exit out of the second one and lose your chance. But also, if you overtake into that first chicane, you're very vulnerable, because the guy behind you is then going to have DRS for that next straight. As in the background there, we've got K-Karts here making a move on his teammate up into 4th place, and Sedders has now got ahead of Dazza up into 2nd as well. But Dazza will be looking to try and get a cutback or get a run here through the next part. Is he going to have a chance? No, Sedders has got too good of a run there out of the corner. He's going to be comfortably ahead here into the next corner. But K-Kart's now ahead of his teammate on those 5-lap fresher medium tyres. And K-Kart's, I'll tell you what, he's got some pace here. He's got some decent pace on his medium tyres. They're not going to last very long. We've seen that already. He'll have 9 laps. He has not. Well, he's got to get these 9 laps to get to the end. I think that's pretty much what we saw him do in the first stint on much heavier fuel loads. So K-Karts has definitely got it within him to get these tyres to the end of the race. They're not going to be quicker than the guys around him by the end, but at this moment in the race they certainly will be quicker than those guys in front of him. But if he gets ahead of them, he'll have to then defend from them later on, because towards the last couple of laps we'll definitely see a performance crossover in favour of the hard tyres. At the moment he's going to have a bit of an advantage though, so he needs to make the most of this advantage whilst he can here. Grandad, I'm in the middle of something. What's up?
Sorry, did you?
I'm in the middle of something. Is everything alright?
Yeah, did you order food?
No, I said ready-made meals, didn't I? Because I can't go out.
Oh,
I'll be in there. I said 8 o'clock, didn't I? I said I'll be in there.
right.
Alright. Alright, mic's still on, that's good. Right. Oh, Clem, what's going on? Clem just ran wide. Did he? I don't know. Was that me imagining it? So Clem just slid off the track there, going through the hairpin. His gap just under 9 seconds right now over Sedders. I mean, his tyres shouldn't be going off yet. He's only done 8 laps on them and they're hard tyres, so yeah, I mean, they might be starting to feel the pace a bit now, but I wouldn't have thought they'd be done. He seems to have extended the gap a bit through this part, so no issues really. I think just a bit of a false alarm there for Glenn. Nonetheless, Sedders is closing the gap a little bit. He's extending the gap over Dazza at the moment, as Sedders now as well. So K-Kart's now looking to pile the pressure on the back of the Ferrari in this fight for the podium, although K-Karts has got a penalty, which will obviously shake things up a little bit by the time we get to the end of the race. As said, as you've got to say, a very good drive here for him tonight. Started in 7th place on the grid, made his way up into P4 by the end of the first lap, and has fought really well throughout the rest of this race so far. What's K-Kart's able to do here on the back of Dazan? We're getting to the point now where the medium tyres start to really struggle a bit after about 4 or 5 laps. They start to slide around like crazy. So maybe at this point in the stint, Dazza's going to have the advantage already. That's how quickly these tyres fall away from you. K-Karts will get a little bit of DRS here down towards the first chicane. He's got the slipstream as well, getting closer, 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 closer. Can he put him under any real pressure here through the next sequence? If he does, he might have a chance to make a lunge. But these tyres are going to have lost their advantage, I think, by this point. That's almost certain. Here comes K-Karts again then. I think he's still just a little bit too far away. He's got good straight line speed. He's got, yeah, a bit of an advantage down there, but just too far away to realistically make anything happen through that part of the track. It's not going to happen for him just at the moment. That's Glenn here with just under a 9-second gap here over Sedders at the moment. As we've got 3 laps left to go here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix tonight here at the Misfits Formula 1 League. Glenn here with a comfortable advantage out the front of over 8 seconds, so he looks like he's pretty much got this one in the bag. See a bit of a lock up there from Glenn as he went into the corner. K-Karts here is going to have the DRS and the slipstream here. Down the first of the two long straights. Glenn's setup is so slidey. I don't know how on earth he's managed to go 27 laps without sticking it in the wall, and he's leading the race comfortably. It's completely beyond me. So we see Icon spade into the pits here at the end of lap 27, getting those medium tyres off, which have done 12 laps, which is pretty bonkers. He's put the soft tyres on for these final 2 laps of the race, and the funny thing is they're going to be halfway worn by the end of the race as well. I've seen the soft tyres around this track; they just do not work. Dazza looking a bit more comfortable here in his third place. I think he's going to see this one out here in a podium spot, unless something drastic happens here on the final lap of the race. Glenn, the race leader, is just coming round in a moment to start his final lap of the race, and he's driven absolutely brilliantly here tonight as Glenn. Sellers 2 seconds ahead of Dazza. I think Sellers has pretty much got P2 in the bag here. Dazza is going to be on the podium for this one. K-Kart's starting to fall away a little bit on his medium tyres now in his closing stages. I think that one's going to be job done there for Dazza for third place. I constipated here, still ahead of Shadow Perp at the moment. Should be able to pull away as well on the soft tyres, but I have a feeling that these soft tyres might be done after about a lap or two, so who knows. But he should be alright for P5 anyway. Can't imagine that he'll have any issues here on the final lap of the race, but Glenn has got just half a lap left to go here at the As Marina circuit, fall of round 5 of the Misfits F1 League here tonight. He has not put a foot wrong over the course of tonight, apart from that brief moment that we saw into the hairpin a couple of laps ago. I don't know, actually, that might not be the only one that he's had, but it's the only one that we've caught on stream anyway. And he's driven absolutely brilliantly here tonight. Was overtaken by Dazza in the first stint, looked up against it a little bit, came in for an early pit stop. His car looked all over the place. His setup incredibly loose here tonight. His tyre wear was clearly causing him a bit of problems, but came in on lap 6, got a 2-lap undercut, came out 8 seconds clear, and since then has not looked back. The guys couldn't make the most of their tyre delta in their favour, and Glenn here out of the final corner is going to take, in the end, a very, very dominant win indeed here. Glenn over the line to take the checkered flag here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and is the winner here of round 5 here at Misfits, with Sedders out the final corner here to take second place, just ahead of Dazza, who completes the podium. K-Karts is going to come over to take P4, and the top 4 separated by about 15 seconds, and then an enormous gap back to I Constipated, who's running in 5th, as he's already gapped Shadow Perp considerably on his fresh soft tyres here. John obviously retiring from the race a long way out, but not too many drivers here tonight, but certainly we saw some good action, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we see a few more drivers honouring their commitments for next week. But I Constipated out the final corner here. Massive shout out to all the guys who made the effort here tonight. Props to you guys. And fingers crossed we'll be seeing a few more out on track. So Glenn, Sedders and Dazza there completing the podium. And that is that for tonight's action here. So Glenn with a very impressive strategy there. Made the most of those fresh tyres. And he's your winner here for tonight. But that is that then, guys. So Glenn, Sellers, Dazza, podium finishers. And yeah, cheers everyone.